Welcome to America's Top Rebbetzin. In the merit of this class, may Hashem provide a refuah shalema for Tamara bat Elka, and may he watch over all the Jewish people and give enormous strength to the IDF soldiers, including Isabella bat Natalie, Ishai ben Talia, Keshet ben Natalia, and Kafir ben Shiri. Please click on the subscribe button to subscribe to us on the America's Top Rebbetzins YouTube page, or click follow to follow us on your podcasting app so that you are the first to know when an inspiring new episode is posted. Today, I am very happy to welcome Rebbetzin Dvorah Lea Raichman. Rebbetzin Dvorah Lea is the co-director of Chabad Manos, which serves all Jewish people throughout the Amazon region in Brazil, and they serve tourists as well. Rebbetzin Dvorah Lea grew up in Belém, Brazil, and after graduating from Gani Talmud Torah in Sao Paulo, she continued her studies at the Beis Haya Mushka Seminary in Montreal, Canada, and majored in both early childhood and also elementary school education. During the summer months, Dvorah Lea was the head counselor of Camp Gan Israel Day Camp in Costa Rica. She has taught in Hebrew and day schools throughout the New York area. Wow. You had so much experience with children. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Please tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So you said a lot of it. Now I work a lot with my own kids here, Baruch Hashem, and with kids in the community that I teach. And we do activities and camp. And that's why I work with the kids.
It's amazing because you have your Chabad house is in the Amazon rainforest. Is that right? Of Brazil, or where is it?
Yes, it's in a city surrounded by the forest. So we live in a normal city.
Okay.
We are surrounded by the forest. So we are very close by, and that's where people come when they want to see the forest. That's why we work with a lot of tourists also.
I was going to say, yeah, because probably a lot of people travel from all over the world to come to the Amazon rainforest, and they probably stop at your Chabad house.
Right. So that's the city they go into, mainly in Brazil.
And what is the name of the city?
Called Manaus.
Manaus. Okay. Okay.
And the state is called Amazon.
Okay.
Amazonas, it's the state. There's the region, like the whole North Brazil, like the region, but the state, our state, it's the state of Amazon.
Wow. That is really, really cool. It's a very, very unique Chabad house that you have. I really like that. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that is so, so beautiful. It's about instilling love for Judaism in our children. And you have so much experience working with children that you're the perfect person to speak with about this topic. You know, we all want our kids to love being Jewish and to be proud of their Jewish heritage. We want them to be connected to Judaism. So I want to ask you, how can we do it? How can parents help instill the love for Judaism into their children, like a really, really strong love of Judaism that the children will have, not just when they're younger, but that they'll carry through with them through adulthood?
That's exactly what I say. I talk to my husband, other people about it, like in educating our kids and everybody. It's not just for today. Like I don't want them just to do it today now and to be obedient and do what I say, but I want them to want to do it in the future also for themselves. I have to say, first of all, that a lot of what I have today comes from my parents, who are also shluchim in Belém, as I mentioned before. And they actually just celebrated 40 years of their Chabad house.
Wow, that's amazing.
So really like the love for each person and the care, and doing for each person, that's what really makes an impact. And that what makes the person want to do something and want to have that love for Judaism. My father always says, that's something that I have with me, that it's not what they learn in the school that's important. It's the feeling that they get for what they learn, for what they're living. So it's not just about if they learn the Chum, if they learn the Lacha, if they learn the thing. If they had a good feeling toward it, that's the main thing. Because what they learn, they're going to forget after. It's not the main thing. If they're taught with love, with care, if the teacher was just like a strict teacher that taught all the subjects but wasn't nice to them, so they're not going to have a good feeling for that. So the most important thing, not just teaching them how to do it or what it is or what to do, but to teach to have a good feeling for the child and for the subject in the Yiddishkeit. So that's what I try to, especially with my kids and with the local kids also, that whenever I tell them to do something, like in a good way, like not forcing, not like be upset doing it, or be sad and like do it like without willing, because then they're gonna connect the bad feeling to the mitzvah, to Shabbos, or to kasher, or to whatever it is, or to davening. So I wanted to have a good feeling about it and say they're not doing for me, they're doing for their connection, especially with Hashem.
I love that. I think it's beautiful because that really is what it is. That's really why we're doing the mitzvot, to connect to Hashem, for our own personal connection to Hashem, not to be obedient or not just to do the right thing for the teacher, but to do the right thing in the eyes of Hashem and really for Hashem. So I want to see, maybe you can give me some examples of like how to do it, practically speaking. There's so many mitzvot. I mean, you have everything from being kind to others to keeping Shabbos to doing Netzilat Yadayim in the morning to davening. I mean, there's so many. There's 613 mitzvot. Okay, we don't all, not everybody keeps all 613. We have some for boys, some for girls, some during the time of when the base Hamikdash is rebuilt. But we have a lot on a day-to-day basis, a lot of mitzvot to keep. So can you give me some examples, either of how your parents instilled the love for the mitzvot and love of Judaism in you, or how you do that for your kids?
So let's take a typical example of davening. And especially the no school days, the kid don't want to do, and that. So I always say, like, don't let the Yetzer Hara win you 100%. No, do something. Do 5 minutes. Do for Hashem. Do a little bit, and so you'll do it. Like, don't let the Yetzer Hara win you over. Like you win it. Like even if it's a little bit, you know. And I always say, like when it comes to other things, I say, I'm telling you what to do, what's right. Now you choose to do it. Like, I don't force them. I don't say, oh, you have to do it because it's it. They have to share. You have to do it. Like, I don't say, I say, that's what's right. You ask me, I say, no. I say, do this, or do that, or this way, or that way. Like, but now you do it. You want to listen to me? You listen. Or even if they want a candy, it's not necessarily a mitzvah. Say, like, it's not for now. I said, no. You want to do it? It's your problem. It's a problem between you and Hashem. You deal with Hashem, and like you see, you want to follow it or you don't want to follow.
I
So
really
like
like
I
that.
don't like to blame. Like I said, I'm not gonna force you and hold you back. I said you want to do the right thing. You know what it is. That's why.
I really
And
like it
most of
because
the
you're
time
empowering them. Yeah.
they come to choose the right option.
That's really, really good because you're giving them the power. You're empowering them to make their own decision. We're not forcing them. You're not literally forcing them to do it. You're telling them the information. You're showing them how to do it. You're explaining to them, the benefit of doing it, why they should do it. But ultimately, you're leaving the choice to them. And I think that's where you're going right. That's where I think a lot of people go wrong when they really, really force a person. But I think that's what you're doing right. You're letting the person choose what they want to do. Do they want to do the right thing? Do they want to do the wrong thing? And then they have the consequence with Hashem. Just like you said, you deal with Hashem. Whatever decision you make, whether you're doing it the right way or the wrong way, that's between you and Hashem. That's so empowering.
Right. They know it's about themselves. It's not about me.
100%. Right. Wow. I
That's
really like that perspective. Yeah.
I
And
would say sometimes
I'm sorry, go ahead.
one kid, one I know, did the police on the other.
Yes.
It happens a lot here. So I say, you see, I always say, mind your own business. See what you have to do right. Not like it's very easy to say, to the other one what he's doing wrong, what he needs to do, and fix his issues. And you look at yourself and see what you need to do, and let him do his thing. He knows what's right. He knows he's not supposed to do. He knows things, and it's his issue if he does. Like it's not yours. Like leave him alone.
Wow.
you know.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah, because kids do tend to tattle on each other though. So he didn't do this or
Right.
he did this, and yeah.
Right.
Wow. I mean, with all the laws and the requirements of Judaism and all the obligations that we have, our religion can sometimes be overwhelming. This can turn some kids away from Judaism. Like there's too much to do. They don't want to do it. They don't feel like it. They ask why they have to do it. Basically, they don't feel motivated to participate in religious activities and in Jewish life. And if a child or a teenager is feeling like this, what can we do or say to really encourage them to turn toward Judaism and not away from Judaism, because they tend to get so overwhelmed because there's just so much.
Right. So a few things, I guess, make them understand as much as we can, make them like talk to them and speak about what's important and what, especially like by us, like There are the few kids who wear tznius, who wear kippah and tzitzis all day, who don't eat everything that's outside. You know, they're very different than everybody else. And or there aren't many kids, or not just not a religious kid, but so understanding why we do certain things, like what's the reason why Shabbos, like sometimes it's hard, you know, like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't go here, why I don't have ice cream to go buy in the store, you know, like some things, and especially being in the shlichus, like they ask, oh, why do we have to be here? And so all those things, the things that we have to teach them why it's important and why we do all those things. So like, again, not just following rules, but like trying to understand as much as we can why we do those things. So once we understand why we have to do, and again, understand the relationship with Hashem, that's what Hashem wants us to do, that's really, you know, helps them. And also, so I say we have to feed the body and the soul. If we don't feed the soul, we end up feeling that something's missing. You know, even adults feel that, and we don't know what it is. Like we think that, you know, if we have all the material things, all the games, all the toys, all the clothing, all the, you know, the gadgets people want, you know, the electronic, and then they'll be happy, and then they'll be fulfilled. But really, that's not what brings them really like real peace and like, you know, complete and calm. And so we have to feed both. So when we do what our neshama needs. So then that's really, so I guess most teens today, they go off the derech, and it's also, they're really missing that point, like of knowing that that's what they need. You know, I went away from home when I was 12. I went to school in São Paulo, and now I'm sending my kids away from home. We're living the same situation. So when I first went, it was very hard for me. You know, the adjustment, the differences, the culture, like even within Brazil, but a very different mindset. And so it was very hard, you know, and I was struggling a lot. And one of the things that helped me was, you know, I started to question, like, why those things? Why do I have to be here? Why do I need to do this? And why? And then I came to the realization that what's really going to bring me happiness is when I do things right. Do things right means do what Hashem wants. Because really, what's life all about? It's not just, I'm going to do this, to grow up, to have family, to start a new cycle. Like, what's beyond this? There's got to be something more, you know? And I was as young as 12, and, you know, all these questions started coming to my mind, and then I realized, no, like, there's a purpose for life. And now sometimes even adults don't think about it, or don't know about it, or don't, like, realize in a clear way. And I was thinking, like, there's a purpose to why we're here. And it's not just live and not just make a family and build a house and whatever and start all over. There is something special that today I have a purpose to fill. And I thought, no, that really when I do what Hashem wants, that really what brings me happiness. It's not just, oh, if the girl is going to be my friend, if she's going to invite me, if you know, all those things that I was struggling with. That's not my happiness, not going to depend on that. Of course, that's also important, the social part, and, you know, I had to outgrow and, you know, to be mature for that. But then realize that when I do the right things, that's what brings me the real happiness. And that's for everybody in all ages and stages, because once you know you're doing what's right, you know your purpose, and then you can stay in a path. You know, you're not lost. Because if you don't have a purpose, you don't know why you're here. You don't know why you have to do all those things. So why do them? Like, once you understand and you know that's the purpose of the world, of creation of the world in general, and then that's easier to follow that path. And of course, we struggle. It's hard. That's how Hashem created us. That's the whole point of the game. But at least we know where we're going. You know why. You know, that's what we have to do.
I really like that because it's the truth. Like what you're saying is really just it's the essence of the truth. It really is. You hit the nail on the head. You know, when we have a purpose, when we know what our purpose is, and we're connecting ourselves to Hashem. We're just it's not so much on what's going on the outside, it's what's going on the inside with our souls, and that's where the fulfillment really comes in, and that's what makes us really happy. Um, you know, I want to
It's
ask
such
you.
a simple concept.
Yes.
It's very simple, but like People don't know like Hashem created the world to do the mitzvahs, and that's why we're here. And like, you know, I teach this to adults also, and like that's as simple as it is.
Right. But but you bring up a really good point because it is really simple, but it gets complicated because we live in this world, like we live in the physical world. We live in that world, like you were saying, does she like me? Did she invite me? Do they, am I popular? Am I, are they bullying me? In the real world, the world of making money, the world of how do I look, that, just the physical world. And things get cloudy, you know, things get
Right.
cloudy. We get distracted by everything. That's just how it is. So, being on shlichus in Brazil, where you're like the religious family and most of the people around you are not, how do you help your kids? Because I'm sure your kids look at other kids or not maybe even adults in the street and say, why does so and so get to wear that? I'm sure it gets hot where you live. Like I've never been to Brazil, so I'm just imagining. I'm sure it gets hot where you live, and why can't I wear short sleeves or a bikini or whatever it is that they wear? Like why can't I be like them? What do you tell them?
Yeah, the truth that being where I am, like the situation where I am, it helps the opposite. Like sometimes they do maybe one or two, like sometimes it would have such questions, but because they know they're different, it actually does the opposite effect. Sometimes I say, Baruch Hashem, I live in Manaus and not in Crown Heights. Whenever I go
Really?
to Crown Heights, I say, I'm glad I'm not here. Because here, we know we're different and we know we are the example. We know we have to be the standard. So even if they're not going to be like us, but this is religious. This is how a religious Jew should be. So that help us, keep ourselves to where we are. Sometimes it can be hard for some of the kids, but most of the time they they take it as thing. The only thing one of the kids can, the younger ones, is sometimes they say, why do we have to be here? Especially when we travel and come back. And they say, why can't we stay in Belen where they had a school to go every day and had some kids to play? So, why we had to come back? So that part is hard for them. And then even the other kids say, because we're shluchim here and nobody else wants to be here and we're the only one who are here. And that's our mission in life. And so eventually they get used to it again. They always want to go away and travel, um, and we do that. We do send them to camp. We send them to visit. I said I have two kids away for school now, and send the third one, probably thinking soon. So, but we do send them to have those experiences where they're not the only ones who are different. But again, there's a big advantage of being in a place where you're the only one, you're the standard, you're the.
You're
That's
the
why I say it's good
example.
to live here and go visit. No, go so you can go shopping, go so you can go eat some pizza, go so you can go, have those pleasures, those things that you don't have here, but like stay here and just go for a little bit.
I think it's so
That's
amazing though. I
very
mean, your kids are really strong, like strong within themselves. They know who they are. They know that they're the Jewish example for the area that they live in, and they don't try to blend in. It would probably be different from other people. I mean, I live in New York, so I'm only really speaking about my environment here. But here we try to blend in with each other. It's different because there's so many of us and which we're really just trying to blend in with each other, and then we have different levels. Everybody has different levels of observance. And it
that's when it gets harder.
exactly,
Because,
yeah.
he goes to prom, but he does that, but he eats that. And how do you, say, but we don't, we are different. So like it's even harder when you are all from, but which one covers his hair one way, which one dresses one way, which one eats one way. When you're the only one, that's what it is. It's so much easier in a way.
I never thought about it like that. Wow. Wow. Thank you for pointing that out to me. But your kids really, they are really strong within themselves. And I just want to ask you, I know that we've been talking about knowing who you are, knowing that you have a purpose and fulfilling your purpose in life. How did you help to instill that in your kids? Because I feel like that, knowing your purpose, helps to also instill that love of Judaism within your child. Like, how did you help them figure out who they were and what their purpose was?
Good question. I guess just day-to-day living and talking, I'm very open with the kids. Sometimes they ask questions and like I don't hide things from them. Of course, appropriate to age, but they see the world and they ask questions and I answer like, I don't hide. And so sometimes we have, those like long conversations and I don't know, it just the day-to-day things, it just I guess comes out in conversation that, that's our purpose, that's who we are, we are. And that's what I'm creating. And sometimes we point when we see different people, like people that come here and like we see they're lost, or sometimes even like, New Yorkers that, went after derech and they're here, or so like we use all these opportunities to, to talk to them and to show them and to see, oh, I see like, they have this, but they don't have that, like, yeah, a person that has everything, but it's missing the front card, it's still not happy, it's still, so I guess from what we see and like from just talking, like, and, bring in the subject and like in a natural way, we don't sit and give the lessons about life, just, um, yeah, I guess just, conversations that come up.
I like that. So it's really open communication. That's what I'm hearing. It's open communication with your
Right.
children and just being real and honest with them. And I really like that because not all parents have that with their kids. But I see the way that you're explaining it, and I see how that would be really, really helpful. Just when you speak to your kids, you're establishing a relationship with them. And when you're establishing a relationship with them, they begin to trust you and they begin to see how you are, what you do, why you do the things that you do. And you yourself are setting an example for your kids, and that comes out through your actions, yes, but also through your communication, also through talking. I see how that's very, very important.
And it's good that now they talk back. Like my son's in yeshiva in the US and he says, oh, this boy did this and those this and those that. Like he even like things are not necessarily the nicest things, but he tells us he's comfortable and saying to us, and we try to guide again. I'm very like a different thing, not necessarily in Yiddish guys, but I'm very natural minded. And so my son, he always said that he wants a Bluetooth earpods. And I always say, I know it's not so healthy, whatever, and not. And he said, oh, last night he told me, he said, oh, dude, I have an issue. I said, what it is? He said he won a raffle of a Bluetooth headset.
Oh, wow. He won the
And
raffle.
I
Okay.
was like, so okay, so what do you want to do with it? And he's like, oh, I want it, but I know it's not healthy. Like, no, I thought, maybe try once or twice. You see, okay, I know what it is. It's not, wow, amazing. I can survive without it. Then you'll define what to do. You can sell, you can give it to someone, you can. I never say don't. Like, say, you can try and you'll see. No, that's that you can live without. It's not like amazing, and man, it could be amazing, it could be practical, yes, but you have to weigh the pros and cons. And see, so your life and your health is more important. And it's like he knows what's right, but he's still telling me, and you know, like just to and hopefully you can. Like another thing, he used to eat a lot of. He doesn't eat so much junk, but he likes Twizzlers. So he used to buy, and then he was in America. He used to buy, a pack a week and eat the whole time. And then he made a decision that he wasn't gonna stop eating. He said for a week, 2 weeks. And last night he told me, oh, it's been a month and a half that I haven't eaten Twizzlers. I said, oh, but I
Wow.
really want one. I said, okay, buy a pack and eat one and give to everybody else. So you don't eat the whole pack yourself. Like again, in conversation, make him choose to do it and he wants to do it. Like not saying all my kids don't like junk. They do like it. They want candy all the time. Not that I give to them, but just again the education that is gonna come from him, that he's gonna choose to do it when I'm not there watching him, on his
Right.
own.
And that's the important part because the reality is we're with our kids up until a certain point, and then as they get older, we're with them less and less, and eventually they move out of the house, and with them even less, you know? So at that point, they really have to make the decisions on their own. Like we were saying at the beginning. I really like your approach. I see that it's like your overall approach in general, like toward parenting, to educate, to give the information, to give the facts, to talk, and then the
Right,
kid, at the end of the day, the kid has to make their own decisions about what they're going to do.
right.
I
I
love that.
say even when they're little and at home, like I can't control them. I say, go take a shower. They don't go right away. They don't listen to me, go do this. Like I wish they did. I don't know, maybe some kids do. My kids don't. So like even now, I don't control them. So it really has to come from them. Like, you need to take a shower, they need to brush your teeth, they need, even the day-to-day life things, like uh, they have to,
Right. It has to come from them. It has to come from them.
right?
And I really like that because that really is the point. Like you're really, really giving like the real honest answer because we can't control anybody, whether they're a kid or a teenager or an adult. We can't control anybody. We can only control ourselves. And in terms of our kids, whether it's about food or electronics or Judaism, we give the information, we give it over in a way that's loving and not like really strict, like you were saying earlier. Like if we're really like, don't do this, don't do that. Sometimes we're even going to push the kids to want to do it more. The more we say no,
Right.
the more they want yes. So I like the way that you have your approach to be very, very relaxed and educating and talking and open, and then ultimately it's the kid's decision. That's what, and hopefully they do make the right decision. But I feel like
Hopefully they got the message of what of what we taught them, know what's right, what's wrong, it'll be inside of them. And
right. And over the years, and it also really helps when the parent exemplifies it. Like when you personally, as a woman, as a human being, when you personally feel your own personal connection to Hashem and you live like that, regardless of anybody else, when you live like that, you're setting an example to the kids. Maybe they don't want to do everything exactly the way that you do it, but they have that sentiment, that feeling that mom is doing this particular mitzvah because she's connecting to Hashem, and I see the way she's doing it. Maybe I don't do it exactly like she's doing it, but I see what she's doing and I see how she's doing it and I see the feeling that she's doing it with, which is so, so important. That's what we impart to our children. And that's the essence of how we instill the love of Judaism in our children.
exactly. Like some people I'm a relaxed person in general, everybody who knows me knows that. Um, so in general, sometimes like some things can bring a lot of stress. Like some people could be very stressed about preparing for Shabbos, like
Of course.
screaming this, and then like that brings the whole stressful feeling towards Shabbos, and that's not what we want. We want Shabbos to be something that's nice. So we give a special, Shabbos cereal and Erev Shabbos cake, and so they know, what's for Erev Shabbos, something, and no, so we don't come in with this like feeling of stress and feeling that can't do anything on Shabbos. Like it's always like a day that we play together and they play and whatever. Just like many times Friday night we talk, whatever. Like so just bring and I always say when Star Shabbos starts, I always sing Baruch Hashem, Shabbos Kodesh. So I say that Shweki took my song and he made a whole Shabbos song, Baruch Hashem Shabbos. Now we play this song at the Shabbos. So like instead of bringing the stress about it, like why stress about it? Okay, it's work, and then everything's gonna get done, you know. And I heard a story about I think Rabbi Shvei's mother. I don't know if you know from Karhait that like Elena during the war, the first World War. I don't know, I'm not sure exactly, but the this was a lady that she became a widow. She had a daughter and three sons, and the daughter, like Elena, passed away in the middle of the war, and she was like running away. And she made a song because she was able to bury the daughter.
Wow.
She's like, it was such a horrible situation, but she was able to herself, she buried the daughter, and she made like a little nigun. And her daughter, her granddaughter was saying the story, and her son sang the song. And I was like, wow. And I heard this, it was during COVID when I had no cleaning help, no nothing. And I'm like, wow, if she could sing for for burying her daughter, like I could sing to prepare for Shabbos, to clean everything myself when everything seems crazy, I can do it. Everything's gonna get done in the end, So like take out the stress, do what you can, do it with simcha. Like don't bring the best feeling to the things. Another cute thing happened like a few weeks ago. I wasn't feeling very well. I was like laying in bed and I'm like, hi Hashem. And my 5-year-old heard and he said, hi Hashem, Baruch Hashem. And I told after my other kids, I'm like, you see, I was like this. And Moshe said, Hashem, Baruch Hashem. And really, we have to say Baruch Hashem for everything. And the Hashem is for a good thing, don't complain, say Baruch Hashem. So like I told him and I commented to the other kids. So I guess you see that's one of ways of teaching them this approach and this mindset of no, Baruch Hashem, it's a good thing, So like that without complaining, that'll bring the stress, that thing, bring the good things in part. So they'll have this good feeling. Again, even if my kid is not gonna come to the shul on Shabbos and daven the whole daven, but he's gonna have a good feeling to come to shul. If I force him and I scream at him to come, he's not gonna. He might do it today, but he's gonna have a bad feeling. The previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, he wrote a book on chinuch, and the beginning it says Chanach lanar pidarko, teach the young people according to his way. Gam ki yaskin lo yasur mimen. So when he'll be older, he's not gonna turn off from the derech. So according to his way, the way of the child, each child is different. And we have to see what they want at that stage and that age, what's gonna help him to grow up with this feeling. I have one child that's more shy, and he's embarrassed to come to shul. He never goes into shul. And that's how it is. It's fine, Eventually he'll grow and he'll learn. So I say, okay, sit here and sit in the kitchen and for 5 minutes or 3 minutes, say brachas at least, say something, like, again, not to force him into something that he's not gonna feel good and he's gonna be resentful about it. And I don't know, it's really it's the biggest challenge of the generation, the chinuch.
It really,
And
really is. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
for
was gonna
everybody.
yes, for everybody. It's so true. So, and that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you ever get upset when they're supposed to be doing something? Let's say they're supposed to say a bracha over a piece of cake. Let's just say, and let's say that they don't. Do you ever get upset when they don't do a mitzvah that that they're supposed to be doing? And they're just not doing it? Do you ever get upset, or how do you handle the situation?
No, I usually don't get upset. I remind them, there's say bracha, say bracha. And then that's it. And then I don't police them, say bracha, say bracha, say bracha.
You say it
Like,
once, and whether they say it or whether they don't say it, that's up to them.
yeah. Again, like I'm not gonna be say bracha, say bracha. I was once by a family and the man of the family was saying to a different kid, it wasn't even his child. And he said, say bracha, I'm waiting to hear. Like, and he had to go out, but he waited. I was like, whoa, like so much, pressure. Like, so I didn't say anything, of course, but like for me, it was like, wow, that's a little too much. So yeah, say it, but don't police. Just like I tell my kids, don't police, each other. I don't police them either, That's what you're supposed to do. Again, say a bracha, okay, and then eventually say, I'm here, bracha. Again, always with the positive, not with the negative, because you don't want to give the negative feeling, Again, you don't want him just to say bracha today. You want him to know what to say bracha. You want him to want to go to shul. You want him to have a good feeling about Shabbos. You want him to give about everything.
It's really that I mean, you say it so beautifully. You say it so beautifully. I'm really going to try to, me personally, I'm really going to try to put a lot of that into practice because for me personally, it's very, very difficult because of course I want my kids to do the right thing, but I feel like I like your approach, like the non-pressure approach, the no pressure, I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to remind you if you need a reminder, and then the rest is up to you. Because I do agree with you that you need to bring a good feeling into the house when it comes to doing brachot. You want your family, you want your children to love Shabbos. You want them to love getting up in the morning and say Moda'ani. You want when they have a problem, maybe they're studying for a test that's really hard, maybe they're having a challenging situation in school. You want them to turn to Hashem. You want them to just, talk to Hashem in their own words and just pray and turn to him for help naturally without you saying, well, did you talk to Hashem about it? And it's not that you can't say that. Of course, you can say, you can always talk to Hashem, but you want them to eventually learn how to do it naturally. All these things that we're talking about, because like we said, eventually they're going to grow up and they need this. They need these skills. They need this connection to Hashem for the rest of their life. So
Right.
Yes, I like that. So, I really enjoy hearing from personal examples like we've been talking about. I personally feel like if I see somebody else doing something, it could be possible for me too, even if it seems really hard at first. So this gives me hope, and I feel like a lot of people feel like that too. If they see somebody doing something that it inspires them to do it as well. So, um, I wanted to ask you if you have any interesting stories in your community, something that we can learn from. Do you have other Jews in your community or even tourists that have come to you that you can maybe share a story or two of something, of a situation that happened either with the Jews in your community or tourists, like something that we can learn from or be inspired from?
About chinuch?
Either about Chinuch or about Jewish life in your region, and anything in general. Not, it doesn't have to be necessarily about Chinuch.
There was one story came to mind now that you asked.
Hmm.
Sorry, one of my kids are here.
It's okay, no
It
problem.
happened a few years ago, and not just to show like the essence of the person was a bacher from Yerushalayim. He was, of course, searching for himself, and he came and was sukkahs, and he didn't want to come to the shul, and like he waited in the sukkah. He came first for the Shabbos, and then he came for sukkahs, and so he came and he told my husband Baruch Hashem doesn't drink, but he brought a vodka. And the boy said, when we get to here, I'm gonna start singing. Like drink a little bit. And so it's just the two of them, like me, I had maybe a small kid at home. And then he started talking, whatever. He didn't want to open up much about what happened to him. He was Yerushalmi and something happened, something not good connection with his father. מאמי לא יכולה עכשיו, תזכור את הדלת. תבקש איתה. תזכור את הדלת, תבקש איתה. תזכור את הדלת. כן, תזכור את הדלת. And so, yeah, we probably had like different ideas, of evolution and those things, and we spoke a little bit, and then he got loose a little bit with the mashke, and then he started singing, and you could see he had such like a feeling, and like he would sing and like close his eyes and like so like deep in emotion, and all of a sudden נכנס יין יוצא סוד, and I told him, see, this is your sod, this is really who you are, you went through hard things, in your life, whatever was that happened, I don't know, but your essence, that's what it is. You see, that's in what you delight. In what you delight, in this thing that brings you memories from the house and from, the good memories. And that's who you are. We have to try to connect back to that, because that's exactly your essence. So sometimes the chitzonius, the outside, the whatever happens to a person, or the way they dress, whatever, it seems that they're different, they're not, but really the essence, it's there. And we have to tap into that. And many times I think about this boy, and sometimes we even like write to him and say, yeah, how are you doing? And whatever. He moves to America. I don't know. But, he revealed his essence. I think that's very important. I have to try to touch them and to show that to people that that's what they are. It doesn't matter what they did, what they didn't. And there was another girl that came here also from a Lubavitcher family, and she wasn't so lost. But she came here, she spent Shabbos, and I think she slept by us. And we had some time to speak, and it was very nice. And also, like, she wasn't sure, like, I did some things I wasn't supposed to, and what I do now, like, I just need some guidance, some acceptance, so it's okay. Sometimes we do things and we can't regret. And I told her, I also did things I regret, and we move on. The good things about tshuva is like when you do tshuva, it's like you become a new person. No, so forget the one who did that. It's not you. No, you're a different person now. So you can move on. And I just saw her now in New York, and she's married, and and I was like so happy to see her, well and adjusted, and it was very nice. So I think we always have to focus on the pneumius of the person, the essence of what we really are, and we know that everybody has a potential. for the good things. So sometimes it's hard to see that in people, like when we see what they do, it's not appropriate, or even like the local people, they're very far, or they don't care about Judaism, or, they're just far, or they didn't have the opportunity to learn and somebody who to educate them properly. So they don't know what they're missing, but we have to try to tap into that pinteleit, that the kudah, and try to reveal it and try to look over it. Sometimes people are hard to deal with. They drain our energy, but we have to say, okay, this is behind that. There is a Jewish soul that we have to, to look into.
I love
And
that. I
that's for
think,
everybody.
yeah, like you like that, like you just like really like hit upon like such an important point, because when we look at people, sometimes we look at what they look like, how they dress, what they did, their past deeds, what they did wrong, like all those external things, and we miss
Right.
their essence, their true essence of who they are. And I think, I know I'm working on this for myself. When I look at people, like I look at them in their eyes, because you can see the soul through the eyes. I really believe that. And look at them through at their soul as much as you can see at their soul, at who they really, really are, aside from all the externals that they show us, who they are really on the inside. I think it's
Yeah.
so, so important.
And sometimes the outside, it looks very different. And then you start talking to the person, see their values, see their things, see what they do, and it's like, it's amazing. And sometimes like we think, oh, he's not from. He's not from. There is another person here just in Miami. He's like not from. He's married to a non-Jewish lady, but he has such a munah in Hashem. And he has said stories, and like I said, you're a tzaddik, he really is. It could be he doesn't do Shabbos, doesn't do kasher, he doesn't do many things, you know. But he has this side, that nobody knows until we talk to him and he tells his stories, and it's amazing. And for Hashem, we don't know the value of each person, of each, the way he helps his family, the way he helps his mother and his sister. And really, emunah pshuta, like simple faith in Hashem, of things that he needed, like he needed money, and he said, no, I know I'm gonna get it, and he gets it, like it's amazing. So again, like you see the external looks like a person that doesn't do anything, like totally not from, but no, he has so many things that, that's not in the in the clothing, it's not in the fantasy, in the custom. It's in the essence of the person. And that's really like what's and we can learn from all of them. And when he tells his stories, again, I show my kids, I say, you see how he is, you see this thing, point out the special thing and the things that he said. They're amazed, and they learn from him also, they learn from his stories, and they learn that part from this person.
Thank you. That's really, really beautiful. And yeah, it is interesting how sometimes the inside could be so different from what it looks like on the outside. It's so wow. Thank you for bringing up that point, because that's really, really important. And thank you. Thank you so much, Rebbetzin Dvorah Lea, for joining us on America's Top Rebbetzins. In the merit of this class, may Hashem give a refuah shalema to Tamara Bat Elka, and may he also watch over all the Jewish people and give enormous strength to the IDF soldiers, including Isabella Bat Natalie, Ishai Ben Talia, Keshet Ben Natalia, and Kfir Ben Shiri. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.